Hello everyone, welcome to Kharkiveskya Southwest Area Test Battle Part 1. Kharkiveskya is the working title for a 1.5 by 1.5 kilometer map of Kharkov that I'm making. I'm using the fictional title because the map is not historical and uses Google Street Level views as the foundation for design. The ultimate goal of the project is to facilitate a fictional head-to-head campaign using slices of the map and a very simple campaign system for choosing which slices to play and overall victory conditions. At this point, I'm not committing to either a single-player campaign, single scenarios, or quick battle maps, as the workload of adding those is just too prohibitive. Having said all that, I believe this video will show the significant potential the map has for pleasing single-player experiences, as well as the intended head-to-head battles. I wasn't originally intending to do anything public with this test battle. Rather, I was trying to get a feel for how the map slice played, spot any issues like pathfinding, and have a little fun to recharge my batteries for more map making. As a result, there are no set victory locations in the editor, and the time on the clock is maxed at 4 hours. However, I will use house rules to add them for the video. Anyway, on to the battle. I'm playing as the Soviets, and my mission is to push due west and clear the SS out of everything south of, and including the line of buildings that face north, running along the east-west river line. I have 2.5 hours to complete the mission. In order to compensate for my fast, untested AA plan, the general weakness of the AI, and poor AI decisions regarding tank and anti-tank gun placement, the German forces are robust. They include a battalion of motorized infantry, a company of Pak-40 anti-tank guns, a platoon of Tigers, a platoon of Panthers, and plentiful artillery. To simulate SS troops, I have used a texture mod and started with base team stats of highly motivated veterans with +1 leadership. To this, I have added a peppering of crack units and a smaller dash of regular units with +2 leaders. Both tank platoon HQs are crack. Additionally, every squad has a Panzerschreck, with the battalion's allotment of heavy machine guns being distributed among the various infantry groups. I spent an hour in the editor to create 16 groups and have them each cover a section of the map. They will occasionally change levels inside the buildings, and some will displace once or twice within their coverage area. The tank units will advance and fall back occasionally, keeping their front armor facing east towards my lines. The setup locations are such that I don't know exactly where anything is, and the tanks and anti-tank gun positions are especially a mystery. Everything in the video is a first run with no do-overs. One house rule is that I will not attempt to go along the riverbank, as I didn't want to take the time to set up enemy forces on the opposite side of the river. A single Panther or Tiger protecting the riverside area would make that route impossible anyway, and likely there will be at least one there covering it. And now for my force. The bulk of my infantry is a battalion in 1943 configuration. First company on the left is green, second company on the right is also green, third company in reserve is regular. The battalion machine gun company is set up to provide fire support for the initial assault. It is also 2/3 green and 1/3 regular. The infantry battalion is augmented by a customized assault company of submachine gun troops. Each platoon is reinforced with one each flamethrower, breach, and tank hunter teams, with an additional heavy machine gun, breach, and flamethrower team attached to the company HQ. They are all regular. For armor, I have a green company of T-3476s with a regular HQ, a flame tank platoon with 2 regular, 1 green, an early Su-122 platoon with 1 green, 1 regular, and a recon platoon of 3 green armored cars. I also purchased a platoon of regular T-3485s and 3 late model Su-122s, but will only call those in if the AI has a better than expected tank setup. Otherwise, I'll pretend I don't have them. Lastly, I have the battalion anti-tank gun platoon, mortar and battalion HQs, and a forward observer. So, what's the plan? Well, let's start by looking at the terrain. Looking west, the area bordering my setup zone is dominated by 2 features. First, an extended industrial area stretching from my center all the way to the southern edge of the map. Second, north across the street from the industrial area is a large, towering building overlooking my right flank. The industrial area is a labyrinth of building complexes with many places to hide and only one entrance that can be navigated by vehicles. This definitely looks like a job for my special assault units, preferably with flame tank support, if I can get one in there to help. The giant building on my right, which strikes me as looking like a hospital, offers the enemy an excellent fire and observation base, both into my push-off points, but also south and west, down a portion of the map. Until I take it, my right flank is held in check, and, should I take the industrial zone, any attempts to move west of it across the center open area would also be held in check. Once I've taken the industrial zone and hospital, I will be able to set up a base of fire and observation for the next leg of my advance. On my left flank, that will be through the factory building running along the southern edge of the map. On my right flank, it will be through the foliage and intermixed buildings, along with the east-west line of tall apartment buildings that overlook the river on their north side and the battle area on their south side. I will use my base of fire and observation at the hospital and industrial area to suppress and wear down anything in the center block of buildings across the open field. Meanwhile, my flank pincers left and right will push forward along their attack vectors. Once I have shut down resistance at the first line of center buildings west of the field, I will move units across it to join the flanks and form a solid north-south line. Then, I'll push left, center, and right in tandem, feeding in units wherever needed, and push my way to the west edge of the map. Simple, right? Well, maybe not so simple, as the enemy will be trying to stop me, and he has lots of nice places to shoot from. Two more to mention now are the massive state building that dominates the map center, and the even more massive workers' housing complex that dominates the west edge of the map. Both offer the ability to reach out and touch someone, and are potentially daunting, costly prospects to take. So it's a good thing we have lots of artillery. First up, we have battalion mortars dropping smoke to cover my flank attacks. One here, and one here. The third mortar battery, in a risky move, will drop a heavy linear bombardment along the center building line just across the street from my starting positions. Yeah, I know, that's awfully close to my troops. My medium howitzers will drop point harassing fire on the state building at map center. In an even riskier move than my center mortar attack, a battery of 300mm rockets will hit the hospital in a point attack, with a second battery of 300mm rockets making a point attack on the foliage area just west of the hospital. Lastly, two batteries of 132mm rockets are scheduled to hit the same general area in the enemy's rear at 15 minutes into the battle to soften up whatever is there by then, be it retreating, advancing, or lying in wait. So, without further ado, let's get into the battle. For the first minute, orders are to just sit tight and engage any spotted targets, while the artillery does its work. Small arms fire erupts immediately from the center corner building. From the hospital, and on the far left from the buildings behind the Memorial Park. On the far right, 3rd Platoon 2nd Company spots a panther near the west map edge covering the river approach. A few of my men drop and others cower as the SS men threaten to steal fire superiority from my greater numbers. That is, until